In this morning's Business Insight, as we told you at the top of the program, on Wednesday, the Ohio Transportation Review Advisory Council will decide whether to continue to fund the addition of a new interchange on Interstate 71 at Martin Luther King Drive. A new economic impact study shows the proposed interchange could spur more than $325 million in private investment, creating more than 2,000 new permanent jobs in the Uptown neighborhood. Now, over the past 10 years, Uptown, home to hospitals, UC, and the Cincinnati Zoo, has been the biggest economic engine in our city. To talk about the new jobs and economic development predicted as a result of the new interchange, Business Courier editor Rob Dahlmeyer is joined by Beth Robinson, President and CEO of the Uptown Consortium. Rob and Beth.
Brian, thanks so much. Beth, thanks for being here this morning. We appreciate it. Big deal next week coming up on I-71, and as somebody who's on I-71 seems like half of my life, it always has seemed strange to me that if you're heading north on 71 from downtown, you have to go all the way out to Dana to get off. That has to be hurting development in the area around Martin Luther King. So tell us a little bit about why you think it's so important for this to happen.
Well, consider this. There are over 53,000 some jobs in Uptown, over 50,000 residents.
Wow.
Over 55,000 students that come each and every day to Uptown. And on top of all that, we have over 1.2 million visitors to the zoo and to the hospitals in the region. So access and transportation connectivity is just a huge issue for us.
Yeah, I was looking at the map when we were putting the story together, just about that big gap between exit ramps for 71. But you were telling me earlier that they actually had plans originally to put one there.
Right. Our understanding is when the 71 was originally built, they were going to have an interchange there, but due to budget constraints, they eliminated it from the plan.
So it's clearly not a crazy idea to have one there.
Right.
It was supposed to be there from the beginning.
Correct.
Now, there's a lot of land, as Brian was mentioning, there's a lot of land around that Martin Luther King area right off 71 that really is underutilized. What is your vision for that, or what does the Uptown Consortium think could happen there?
Right. Well, we, in this economic impact study that UC did for us, really confirms what we already knew, that the proposed benefits of the interchange are huge for Uptown, for Cincinnati, and more importantly for the region. There's about 700 acres of land that you just mentioned that we feel that could be used to attract businesses into Uptown and to the city, and also to provide increased goods and services to our neighborhood residents.
Now, for people who aren't really familiar with the area, roughly where are we talking about the underutilized land?
Well, if you're at Reading and Martin Luther King, at that intersection, there's a lot of vacant and underutilized land, and then where actually the interchange is going in, coming into Martin Luther King in the Avondale area.
Yeah, why has it been taking so long to get this done? I mean, as you said, this really is one of the economic engines of our area. You've got the zoo, you've got all the hospitals, you've got, my wife happens to work where you do, and you would love this exit.
Yes.
Why so long?
Well, part of it is a process that's mandated by the federal transportation legislation. And we've been working diligently for the past 4 or 5 years to get this done. There is a process, there's studies. Right now we're concluding an Uptown Access study process where we have whittled down the options for placing the ramps from something like 8 or 9 alternatives down to really we've got 2. And we're in a public comment period, which is very important to the whole process, to hear what the community thinks and stakeholders think about the impacts of where we put those ramps. And so that process should be concluding this summer, and we'll be down to a selection of exactly how we're going to place it.
So are you optimistic about Wednesday? Do you feel good about it, or
yes.
Do you have any feedback at all on that?
Yes, I do. We've talked to the state numerous times. We feel we have solid support. They're behind this project. They understand how important it is to our region to keep jobs and to grow jobs, keep them from leaving, whether it's northern Kentucky or outside of Hamilton County. So we feel good about the $3 million that we'll be getting next week with that vote, and that will allow us to continue the design and environmental work.
Well, there's a $59 million project. What's Brent Spence?
Something like $2 billion.
$2 billion.
Yes.
So yes, and I would also argue that these ramps in the city are just as important, if not more so, for the people who live here. But anyway, Beth, thanks very much for being here. Good luck next week. We'll have our fingers crossed.
Thank you, Rob.